We didn't get a. Do we usually get a countdown? Hello, eRank. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone who celebrates, who's joining us. Thank you. And to everyone else, hey, it's Thursday. It's eRank Live Q&A with me, Pam Duffy, and him,
and
Bryan.
me, Bryan. Hey, everyone. Oh, yeah, it's reverse. Pam and Bryan.
Yeah. I'm never sure, because sometimes what we see on our screen and then it flips when it goes to YouTube. So I'm not sure. So if we're pointing insanely, it's mainly because we're insane. Yeah.
But just look for who's talking. I'm Bryan. That's Pam.
Yep. Oh, hi, Anna. Happy.
We got colors and blue.
I don't like this being the colourful one. But this is not right. I need to get darkness in about me. Oh, cool. We actually have some people here, so that is good news. And what are we going to be talking about today? Well, as it is Thanksgiving, that means tomorrow is Black Friday, so we're just about to hit the very busiest time of the year. Bryan's dark as your soul. And also we have, well, hopefully not also, in conjunction, we also have the results of our eRank Etsy buyers survey. If you missed that, we do this, we've been doing this for 4 years. And what it is we ask actual buyers on Etsy, we ask them a series of questions about their shopper habits. And it's really kind of interesting. If I can get the link, I'll see if I can post the link for our blog on this. And you can check that out, the full thing. Starla has just made a video summarizing it. I've just made a video summarizing the past 4 years. Because we've got 4 years of data, I thought have shoppers' ideas changed? Yep, exactly. It's like, I have so much data now. This is too much fun. Yeah, so
and there's some major insights there, a lot of surprising things that you would not expect, and that's not even clickbait because you guys are already watching.
Yeah.
There's some stuff
that AI question. Okay. Yeah. Definitely a surprise there. But we ask people all sorts of questions. When are they going to be shopping? Who are they shopping for? What they think of the other shopping platforms. I think we've got like 25 questions, so I can't remember them all. It's a big chunk. So please, everyone, check that out. We rushed to try and get this out to you before Black Friday. We usually do it about this time of the year, but don't get around to reviewing it till January. So we rushed because it's important to know what people are thinking before it happens.
that way it helps you with your advertising and your marketing for the busiest weekend of the year.
Yep, because yeah, buckle up, people. It's no guarantee that this is going to be a great weekend or a great week for you, but this is going to be the busiest few days on Etsy of the entire year.
And every other marketplace. Today, like starting tomorrow, everyone is shopping. And they're shopping on Amazon, they're shopping on Etsy, they're shopping in person, they're shopping everywhere. And so people are spending money. A lot of people will experience, a lot of sellers will experience a slow November because people are waiting for the deals on this weekend. Whether you're running a sale or not, doesn't actually matter. People are shopping.
Yeah, I have to confess, after a very, very, very slow few months, my personal dam has broken. I've been shopping crazy. I was just telling Bryan before we came in, got a new phone, came in like 15 minutes before I sat down here. Got that on Black Friday deals. I've been buying tons of stuff for the dogs. I've been buying stuff for everybody. I didn't think I would, but it's like a dam breaks. You start shopping, and that's what Bryan says. You don't need to be, your shop doesn't need to be on sale because people have been sitting waiting and now they're buying. It doesn't, they might come into Etsy because there's a sale happening, but they'll add some extra things to their cart.
But they're shopping everywhere. And it is true that this year, a lot of people have been saying it is not, people just aren't feeling that Christmas spirit yet. It's because the weather is nicer, because people aren't necessarily going out as much. Even radio stations, I find that they're not playing the Christmas music as early this year. So the Christmas spirit just hasn't been there yet. But once it breaks, which will happen after Thanksgiving, it gets wild. It's nice.
Also, I've been in 2 shops with Christmas music.
Okay.
Wham! For everyone in the UK, Wham! Last Christmas already. Whamageddon's already happened. This is a thing you're out when you hear Wham. And Fairy Tale of New York already played. So I've only heard 2 Christmas songs, and it was those ones. I'm very shops should be banned from playing Wham because they know we're playing the games.
And if you have any questions, throw them in now. We're gonna probably go through the survey first, and then we'll get to your questions, and we're gonna have fun.
Yeah, I did just see this one from Anna. So as we were talking there, so do you think printables, digitals will have a slight boost, even though they're not really giftables? I did join the cyber sale. Everything. If something's going to sell, it's going to sell in the next week, basically.
And printables and digital are actually, they tend to sell right up until Christmas, because people want that last minute gift because they're going to a Christmas party or they're going to their family for Christmas, and they want that last minute thing to either make or to give. And so those sell right up until Christmas Day. This is the weekend where it kind of really picks up, but right up until Christmas Day, printables and digitals, they actually have the advantage over everyone else who has to ship things. So,
yep. And one of the data points, one of the questions in the survey was, who are you buying for? And for the past year, the number one person that people are buying for, themselves. So if they're on buying gifts, come on, when the dam's broke, when your credit card's out, do you buy stuff for yourself as well? I definitely do. I mean, who am I gifting a new mobile phone to?
Exactly. Okay, buddy. Let's sit.
So yes, absolutely. I think just about everything. It's the time. Your ugly things that you made when you were first learning how to do things. People like buying ugly Christmas presents.
A lot of stuff that's been sitting in your shop for years that you didn't think would move. For some reason, these are the days that it sells.
Absolutely. And that is, I don't do Black Friday sales, but getting rid of the stuff that you want moved could be a good thing to put in your Black Friday sale. Oh, we're going to have a fight in the comments about which is the best Christmas song. That would be cool. I do still have a soft spot for Fairy Tale in New York, but we're probably less US people than usual. So I'm wondering, because I'm thinking what we get in the UK is probably very different from what the US has.
There's probably a lot of the same, a lot of Mariah Carey, a lot of Sinatra, that kind of stuff. But then there's a lot of heavy metal Christmas and hardcore rap Christmas. You just got it all. It's beautiful.
I don't think I know much hardcore rap Christmas.
You just don't listen to enough underground music.
I've been hearing The Darkness. I don't know if you guys had that.
Yeah.
It was they decided to make a Christmas song so they could say the word Bell's End or Bell, basically, and it gets played every year. Yeah. Right. Shall we have a quick?
Let's dive in.
Right. So there's a link there should be a link on YouTube, but here is our review of the buyer survey.
And you're going to find this on your Etsy, on your eRank dashboard. You'll see the blog, as well as in the footer. There's a link to the blog, and it's one of the blog articles in there.
Yep, definitely worth checking out. I think we'll just do the first couple of pages, the review, because there's a lot. If you like data, I've enjoyed digging right into it. So quality of listings continues to dominate. I think we all know that. I think the number of times we've all spoke about how important good pictures are, high quality visuals, detailed descriptions. So
because
yes.
because people can't hold the item in their hands, you really need all these tools everywhere that you're given an option to describe your item or really show off your item. It's very important on anything online where people can't touch it. And so that's why people really want a quality listing. They want quality photos. They want a description that when they're reading it, it takes them into a world where they can feel the item.
That's it. You fall in love with it. I'm sure we've all had, if you're shopping, some descriptions can pull you in, and if you sit loving reading the description, you end up buying something because the description was so beautiful.
Yep.
So 70% of buyers ranking that as very important. That is, guys, it's important. But surprisingly, communication matters more than ever. Most important, yes, buyers want to know if there's a problem with shipping delays. If there's a problem, that makes a whole load of sense. And eRank has our delivery status tools, I can't remember the tools, that can help you see if your items are running late or anything. But yeah, it was interesting that people are also talking about all the other communications as being important, whereas we do know that Etsy bugs people quite a lot with communications. So it is got to remember, with any kind of survey, people will often go, yeah, that's really important, and not think, yeah, that's really annoying as well. So definitely work your customer support around your feedback from your own customers as well. But
and
yes,
if there are any
know.
issues or there are any delays, that's the type of stuff you want to communicate. It's just like in a relationship where when there is an issue, you want to bring it up, you want to talk about it, because that ends up with a positive end result instead of the buyer just not getting their product and being upset about that.
Absolutely. Are you ka-chinging again there?
I am. Thought I turned that sound off. Sorry, guys.
No, that's cool. Somebody's getting sales. Yeah. Where product reviews build confidence, 93.7% of buyers said that product reviews significantly influence their purchasing decision. So although we hate them, they are important.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that you need all 5-star reviews for people to be happy. That just means that if you do have negative reviews, either it's an issue that specifically that person might have, or that you've responded to the review in a way that makes it seem like you've dealt with the issue and that you do communicate well and have customer service when there is an issue.
Yeah, I was in a different forum. I won't name names or anything, but I was reading something where someone was complaining about how horrible it is that Etsy makes us answer reviews and things. And some people mentioned her terrible answers to reviews. And I went and looked, and yes, a customer had given a 2-star review for something that, yes, it was a confusion. She didn't read the description properly, but the seller had ripped into her in the review. I'm like, I would not buy from that shop, even though she's correct. That's not a good way to do it.
Yeah. Responding, if you are going to respond to reviews, I'm someone that doesn't respond to reviews, but if you do respond to reviews, make sure that you're talking to future buyers. Don't really worry about the person who purchased it that left the negative review, because that's more personal communication that you're doing through messages. If you're going to respond to a review, you're responding, you're making that response for everyone else who will potentially buy from you. Because the person that you're responding to might not even see that. They don't get a notification when you respond to the review. So they likely won't even see it. You're responding to everybody else to make sure that everybody else knows, no, I'm a good seller. Trust me. I'm still good.
Yeah. On any site, when I go and look at the reviews, I literally don't care about the 5-star reviews. I go and look at the negative reviews and see, are they relevant? So if you get a review that you hate, this is one thing that I actually like AI for. This is the go to Chatty, put in what they've said and what you would say, and then say, Chatty, can you put this in a way that's not going to get people to hate me? Can you be diplomatic, because I'm angry just now and I'm taking it personally.
Fair. And also remember, when you are replying to reviews, that you don't have to reply right away. You have you have that same review window, which is 100 days from when Etsy estimated the delivery date, to leave a response to the review as well. So you don't, while you're hot-headed, you don't have to respond to it. You can respond to it in a couple weeks when everything's fine and you're very level-headed at that point and don't care.
Yeah. And I wouldn't respond immediately anyway, because if you respond, that's the review locked in. You can take that as customer feedback and then message the customer in a decent way and see if you can resolve the problem. You might be able to get rid of that low review anyway.
Exactly.
Buyers accept reasonable wait times for handmade. So 59% of buyers are willing to wait 7 to 14 days for handmade or unique items, provided sellers communicate timelines clearly. And yeah, I've seen that. I think I've said before, there's a top felter, there's a top artist in my niche, and her wait times are currently 6 months. And she sells and sells because that's like a social proof, isn't it? But, well, if she's that busy, I better get in now because she's so good. So yeah, don't worry about people waiting. They'll wait for something really good.
It's a very different niche, but it's the same thing with tattoo artists, where for a good tattoo artist, you're waiting at least a year. That's just because they're that good that everyone wants them. This felter, she's that good that everyone wants her work, and it takes time to actually make it and perfect it. So it's not harming her at all by having that kind of push out of 6 months.
Exactly. I mean, if not that I know a whole load about this, but if you were going to buy something like a custom made wedding dress and they said, yeah, I could get it done for you by tomorrow, you'd be a bit worried. You want it to take a while. You want them to be busy and you want them to take the time on your items. So yeah, the people aren't dumb. They do expect it. Oh, yuck. I hate 0.5. Free shipping remains a priority. Yeah, sure.
I mean, well, that is true. Everybody loves free shipping. People will pay what it costs if you make an item that they want.
Yeah.
So if you can't offer free shipping, that's perfectly fine. In my shop, I have free shipping over $150 Canadian, which is 110-ish US. And I have found that that's increased the order value because my items are between $15 and $30. But if your items are $2 to $5, getting someone to buy 50 items is not easy. But if your items are between $5 and $10, then maybe the $35 US free shipping guarantee might work well for you. So kind of look into that, because people do like free shipping, but don't just give away anything. Make sure that you are charging what you need to. And if you are offering free shipping, that it benefits you in some way. In my case, and in the $35 case, you want people to be adding a few more items to their cart. And that is what the incentive is. If you're selling a $35 item and you have $35 free shipping, then that item is free shipping. Make sure it's built in and you're not losing money on shipping because of that.
Yeah, that's it. Make sure you roll in that price in. It is a cost of your business. We don't get free shipping, unfortunately.
Yep.
It's definitely, I think it's a good thing for high ticket items because people really expect that. But also you can roll in the shipping price, but choose the shipping, because quite often if you're selling something at a high price, you want to send that by the best, most insured method. But buyers won't always upgrade to the best method. So if you're doing free shipping, then you're picking what shipping you're sending. So that can be handy too.
It's true.
Clear returns policy retains importance. I forgot to say the survey is on Americans. It's always American buyers, just the way our survey works just now, because then it gets too confusing if we're trying to pick out of all the responses. One person in Spain answered and 2 people here. So if you're in the EU or the UK, clear return policy is illegal importance, but for American buyers, clear return policy retains importance. 57% rating it important, and 33% say if it's not there, it would discourage repeat purchases.
Let's jump down to the survey demographics. I like charts.
Oh, yeah.
We're both chart people. Let's jump to charts.
Yeah,
You guys can read this. There's lots of information there.
Yeah,
it's all important. It's all great, but we like colorful things because we're live right now.
Yeah, these are pretty.
And this was one of the things that surprised me very much, where 8.4% are over 70 years old. That alone blew my mind. That 18 to 29 was such a small percentage of a handmade marketplace. That also surprised me a little bit. I understand that 30 to 49 is kind of the key demographic for most products. But you would think there's a lot of baby items. There's a lot, like, baby items is huge on Etsy. And generally that's your 18 to 29 demographic, and it's not as large as the others.
And always the 70 plus grannies buying stuff.
True.
I wasn't surprised because Etsy's been around. It's going to be 20 years next year.
Oh yeah.
I hope Etsy are going to do something. So they were reaching, say, the 30-year-old cool people when they opened.
Yeah.
We've all got older with Etsy. So yeah, the demographic is moving upwards a wee bit. I'm afraid we're all getting older.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Oh, shush, you're still a baby.
This one surprised me even more.
Agreed, yes.
I didn't scroll down. But 48.4% male. I don't necessarily see that in my shop, but I should be targeting that. If it's getting that close to a 50% market of men versus women, then have that in mind when you're making items or when you're creating new items, because it's not just women that are shopping. Like, when you think of handmade items or even just gifting, generally that leans more towards women, but it's not anymore on Etsy. I don't know if it's because of their Super Bowl ads or why that it made such a big change, but the gender disparity is now basically right down the middle, which is kind of nice, which means start targeting everybody.
Yeah. Etsy did mention that they were wanting to tap that market, obviously, because they'd been aiming for females. Well, not even aiming for females. They've been attracting females for so long. But yeah, pulling in the males, well, that's just doubled your audience, hasn't it? So,
whatever they've done, they did a great job on that, because I mean, it broadens your horizon of what you can make and what you can sell. If you feel like you're almost getting bored of what you're making because you've been making it for 18 years, you can now branch out a little bit because the other audience is there seeing what's around.
Yeah, I think it could well have been the Super Bowl, but also I was just thinking there, Etsy's push for giftable things is saying, if this is a kind of feminine feeling site, this is a great place for guys to come in and buy gifts for the females.
Yes. The advertising that I get as a male, the advertising I get on Facebook and Instagram from Etsy is very like, buy your special significant other a gift, and I get advertised constantly. But like, I see sponsored ads all day, every day from Etsy, and most of it is, it would be someone in your life might want this, and so they really are pushing that gifting to males, which is nice.
Oh, cool. I have an ad blocker running. I've not seen any of the ads.
You still see it on Facebook. Like, you still see the sponsor section. Or are you blocking that too?
I've not seen. I know that there's Etsy ads occasionally YouTube manages to push to show you what the ad was going to be that you're blocking. But I've not seen any Etsy ads on Facebook.
No.
And I have to say that Etsy targeted emails are rubbish. They keep trying to sell me my own stuff.
The emails, they are not, they do not help at all. But what they're showing me on Facebook is like, I might, okay, maybe I've bought way too much stuff from Facebook is what I'm saying, because of the Facebook advertising of Etsy.
Yeah, I guess it's just what I've been searching for, that Facebook knows I have a puppy, and it's just that's all I see. I don't see any Etsy ones.
Fair.
Yeah, so ethnic black background, I think that was a bit as expected. The money's always quite cool to know that there's a good distribution of people with different incomes, and above $75,000 or more is the majority at 36.3% of people.
And I was actually a little bit surprised of how, of the under 20,000, it's 13.4%, which means probably lower cost items, but it means that everybody is spending on Etsy. So everybody's needing gifts. Everybody wants that homemade thing. So it's not just targeting the high end, targeting the low end is also, it's also valuable. That also means that that people aren't just shopping at Walmart or the dollar store for gifts. They are coming to Etsy. So don't worry if you have items that are only $5, $10, something like that. The people that are looking for those low cost items are shopping on Etsy as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a good mix, but it also, I think there's 21.9%, 100,000 and over. You know, that tells you don't be afraid to have high ticket items either, apart from the purchase protection thing. But from a buyer's point of view, there are people at every price bracket. So it's definitely whatever you feel like focusing on, there's definitely a market for it.
Yep. If you're making jewelry, for example, and you're selling silver because the price on that is significantly lower, you can also target the gold buyers as well, because they are there. The people that are willing to spend the money on quality are there. So you can hit all price ranges. You don't need to settle yourself in the low or settle yourself in the high. Kind of try and target everybody. You might as well.
Yep. Right. Do you want to carry on, or should we go with some questions?
Let's go with some questions if there's questions. Actually, the next. Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine.
That's all right. It's only a click. Do you want the next one? Yeah.
The next one. I like that. How many times have you purchased from Etsy over the past 12 months? And well, there is a large percentage of one-time buyers and they've only bought once. 2 to 3 times is 42%. More people have purchased more than once. And 3.7% is over 10 times. So basically a quarter of this is they've bought 4 times or more. Hit the repeat buyers. The repeat buyers are the most important buyers. Once you drag them in, that's why if you get sales from offsite ads, you end up losing that 12 or 15%. That sucks for that particular sale. But if you can draw them in and they purchase again and again and again, you win still. So always keep that in mind, that people are not just buying once and then, this Etsy's not for me. Give them a good experience and they'll be back. They love it.
And I do want to say, like, people say when you talk about marketing or you talk about repeat buyers or anything, why should you bring them back to Etsy? Why shouldn't you bring them to your website? And I have to say, bringing them to Etsy, I get it. Like, you don't want to waste your time and money bringing them back to Etsy. You've got these are your customers. Why pay Etsy fees? But there's another side of the coin. There's quite big other sides of the coin. Etsy, although a little slow with some things, does have our back with a few things, helps us with all the shipping taxes and things.
Purchase protection.
Exactly. So we've got all the help there that if you take just to your own website, isn't necessarily there. And that's also buyer peace of mind as well. You might lose a buyer if you say, hey, come to my website, because they might not feel confident shopping at your website in case it's scammy. I have bought, I think the best one was about 3 years ago, beautiful hot summer. I bought off a ad on Facebook of a doggy paddling pool, and it was hamster sized. So I would prefer to buy off Etsy, because then I've got Etsy to go and shout at. So there's buyer help as well.
And a huge advantage is when someone buys from your website, they made the purchase and that's it. It means nothing. When they buy on Etsy, your listing now gets a boost. Your shop now gets a boost because of that sale, which means it can actually lead to further sales because of that, even before the buyer leaves a review, receives their product or anything, because a sale begets sales on Etsy. It gives you that rank boost. So it might cost you an extra 6.5% by selling it on Etsy, but that can lead to raising up in the ranks and making more sales. So it's not necessarily a bad thing pushing people to Etsy.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with thinking of moving off Etsy at some point, or at least expanding. But Brian's so right. It's been the big fish in the smaller puddle, rather than doing the SEO and driving everything to your own website is super hard mode. So bringing them into Etsy, yep, that absolutely. You've got Etsy's doing all the clever SEO, Etsy's doing the big adverts, bringing people in who want to buy. And if you're bringing in extra sales, then Etsy's going to go, here's Brian's shop. Buy from Brian. He's good. So, yep.
But if you've now pushed all those people off to your own site or to a different platform, Etsy's not going to have your back as much because you haven't proven that you can keep sales going. So it's sometimes just a good idea to push Etsy. I mean, I have my own shop as well. I have like on Shopify, I'm on Faire, I'm on Amazon, I'm on eBay, I'm on everywhere. But Etsy is where I focus on because you get that biggest push when you make sales.
Yeah, it's easier to focus on growing one thing. I say this as well with social media and stuff. You can do all the other things, but if you focus in your effort on learning one thing, you can grow that and then satellite it out from that. It's much easier than to try and grow everywhere all at once. Then you don't know what each of the platforms wants. You're trying to learn 400 things at once. Better to focus on one place. And for most of us, no matter how much Etsy annoys us, it's probably still the best for you at this minute in time. If it stops being, we'll start telling you where else to go as soon as we find somewhere else.
And as Melanie said, those repeat buyers have saved my butt during slow times, because when it's slow times or when people just aren't shopping on Etsy, getting new people to your shop is very, very difficult. But people that already know your shop, people that already have your product and like it, they're coming back whether you're marketing to them or not.
Yeah.
Also, if you can get them to join an email list, now those repeat buyers become like ultra repeat buyers, and it's just it's good times.
And I'll tell you, the years that I've had better quarter fours, the years where I've had really good end of the year, my January, February, March have been awesome as well. That momentum keeps going for the repeat buyers coming back, for Etsy going, hey, Pam's awesome. Let's push her to, there's less people shopping, but let's put them to the ones that we know do good.
And a lot more people have Etsy gift cards in their hands and they need to spend. And if they already know you, or you're already pushed up in the rank because you had all the sales, you get all that gift card money too.
Exactly. And yeah, you know what repeat buyers like. Absolutely. That's another one. I know a lot of people don't do custom. They get annoyed by it. But I've had some custom orders from people who were a bit of a nightmare the first time to work with. And when I've worked with them back and forth and gone through that, they've come back and they've been, thank you so much. I've had such terrible times on Etsy. I'm going to come back, and I know how to work with them from then on in. So yeah.
Yeah, and you'll get that. If that's not just an Etsy thing, that's a business thing. If you're in graphic design and someone is extremely difficult, but you're able to produce something that they're looking for, they're going to keep coming back to you because they know that you produce, that you give them what they need, even though they know that they can be a little bit difficult, and they will come back to you over and over and
That's
over
it.
again.
Exactly. You've got them hooked in because no one else will work with them. And after the first time, they're not that difficult because you understand what they're saying.
Yep. True.
But the first time's a nightmare. I've been there a lot.
Justina said, I've never seen Etsy ads on Facebook, and I actually buy on Etsy. You are lucky. I basically, most of my Facebook ads are either Temu or Etsy, and it's every other ad. So between like every 5 posts, I see that. I'm mainly on desktop. I don't know if that makes a difference between the app and a browser, but basically between every 5 posts, there's either a Temu ad or an Etsy ad, and up in the top right corner, there's always at least one Etsy ad in there. They know what I'm looking for and always want me to shop.
I wonder if it's country specific as well, because I'm sure North America ads are more expensive because they're probably more lucrative. So
they're more expensive, but the ads that I'm seeing are also very, very targeted to me. They know exactly what I want, and they're good at selling me stuff.
Cool. Well, I'm glad they're working. I have to say, Temu Facebook ads are ridiculously good.
Yes.
Just stop it. They're like, you once glanced slightly in this direction, so we know everything about you, and you want this. And yes, I do want that. Stop doing that to me.
Yeah, I buy way too much on Etsy because of those ads. They're quite effective.
That sounds good. No, I like to hear that because everything that I've seen isn't effective for me. See, like I say, the mail outs are not effective. The homepage is not very good for me. So maybe I do need to buy some more so they actually learn what I like.
Or favorite, like create folders of favorites and all that type of thing. That helps too. But I think that I might be very responsible for the 48% of males that shop on it. That's
you
all
are
me.
Entirely that.
Is me. That's me.
Yeah.
I am the 48%. Speaking of which, Linda said, wow, I was getting ready to post a guy gifts on Facebook, but not sure how to word it. Yep. They sell gifts. Gifts for men are huge because a lot of women shop on Etsy. A lot of women shop everywhere. But gifts for men to gift are huge.
Yep.
Like even if it's gifts for men to gift to other men, or gifts for men to gift to women, it's huge.
But guy gifts is definitely what I see on Etsy to buy is very skewed women. Yes. So anything, if you can do gifts that would be good for guys, that is definitely an underserved
market.
Yep. But the male shops, the male targeted shops do really well. There's some good ones. I know, and it's the naming. I've got a bald bearded friend, and there was a shop, the bald bearded guy, that just sells like beard products
and combs.
Yeah, so I had to buy from just because like his niche was absolutely perfect.
And it's definitely underserved. And so based on the poll numbers with 48%, I mean, that's definitely something that you want to target.
Yep.
If you have the ability to, if you're making something that fits that niche.
Yep. And it doesn't even mean that you have to change up what you're making. You can change up your photography as well. Yep. Have just a slightly different thing. You don't even have to change your listings. How you target, what your social media posts look like can be more masculine feeling.
I forget what company it was, but there was a company that, like a big beauty company, that made loofahs for showering and stuff like that. And they wanted to target men because they knew that they were losing out on 50% of the population. So instead of making just pink, orange, and green, they made black ones.
That
because
sounds
that was
good.
more manly. And
No, man, well, there's part of me that goes, I would go for that. There's also part of me that goes, how good's the dye on that?
having mostly black clothes, I know that dye will end up everywhere.
Yeah, I'm just remembering my male friends when they decided to try dyeing their hair black, getting a little bit tipsy and sitting out in the rain. Yeah. In fact, I believe there was a singer in the UK was known for having the big sideburns, and that was entirely because his black hair dye ran and he had to cover it up with something before he went on the telly. I can't remember who
That's
that
awesome.
was.
But I mean, it's if you could just change the look of your product, the color of your product, the photography of your product, that can make a huge difference to target a completely different audience without having to completely change what you're doing, which is nice.
Yeah. And it's kind of fun. It's fun to take, like, I like doing the social media pictures because you don't have to do just boring white backgrounds and things. You can do some real fun lifestyle pictures.
Yep.
Oh, cat. Sitting outside in the rain when tipsy pretty much describes every Whitby goth weekend I've ever been to. I didn't know you were another Whitby gother. I used to go to them. That's for everyone who's not in the UK. I think it's pretty explanatory. It's a goth weekend. It happens twice a year in the town of Whitby, where Bram Stoker's Dracula was set. So
Gotcha. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, you're in Canada. Because we also have a Whitby in Ontario, but it's probably not the same at all.
I bet you, just from the namesake, I bet you they do something gothy. But
I hope so.
yeah, but Whitby in the north of England, very cool little fishing village that opens its doors to goths twice a year, and it's ever so good for everyone that hasn't been there. It's cool because you've got all the stalls and everything of the goths, but all like the charity shops, they keep all their gothic stuff aside for the twice a year, and suddenly the charity shops do this and all the businesses come in. And yeah, oh, Cat runs the 80s night. Yes, I've not been for a while, but my friends tell me about it. Yes. Sorry, absolutely.
You can have Whitby. Canada doesn't, but I'm very close to Salem, and that is much better.
Well, no, we have to try both and find out.
I mean, that's the only thing. That's the only option. That's the
I
only
think
option.
so. Yep.
Travel.
Someone had posted in the Facebook group when Brian did a call with AI, found a little spiel about the two of us taking over Thanksgiving. But when it starts with a Canadian and a Scot, somebody was like, it's the start of a joke. A Canadian and a Scot went into a bar. And I was trying to do a joke, but I was just like, and we'd have a really cool night. There's nothing else to put there.
We both, like, between Scotland and Canada, we have the strongest beer in the world. So, I mean, we win. Like, everyone wins. Everyone that's in there wins.
Yeah.
There was also the question that Jess posted in Facebook before we forget.
I totally wasn't avoiding that because it's a difficult one.
I completely have not read it, and it's long, so I'm going to read it now. So I'm going to look this way. Just everyone, I'm not looking at Pam. That's me looking at the question. I had a customer purchase a gift for someone. The package got sent back to me as return to sender, unable to access delivery location. I reached out to the buyer, who double-checked the address and asked that I resend. I told them that they would need to pay for shipping again, as I would need to buy a new label. We aren't supposed to have listings solely for things such as shipping upgrades, as the buyer isn't purchasing an actual item. I did create a listing for them that they purchased for reshipment, but I'm wondering if there was an Etsy policy-friendly way this could have been handled. Should I have canceled the order, refunded all minus shipping price, and then have them reorder the whole thing? I feel like that is the most policy-friendly way, but more inconvenient for both parties. Thoughts? Here's my thought. You're not supposed to create a listing for just shipping, just a shipping upgrade, just an upgrade. You can't make a listing for that. But once you message someone back and forth, you now have the option within messages to create a custom listing. That custom listing can be for just shipping. So that's not a listing that's available for the public, because that would go against Etsy policies. But if you're just basically requesting more money through a custom listing, which only goes to that buyer, then that's actually perfectly within the policies.
Yeah, through the custom listings is the only way you can do this.
Yes.
Etsy is a bit of a pain for things like the rule that I hate is not a rule, but I've seen it mentioned by Etsy. If a customer purchases and then messages you and says, "Can you change the address? I've put it in the wrong address," Etsy suggests that you want to cancel and get them to buy again, which is absolutely terrible customer support.
Yes.
So I just take the hit on that. Etsy wants you to send to the address that they've put in and do all
And
that.
you actually do not have buyer protection or purchase protection if you change the address and it ships somewhere else. So just keep that in mind. But I don't think I've ever asked someone to cancel just to change their address.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work, because they also don't get the refund right away. And so they're now out the money, and it's a whole rigmarole. You might as well just send it. They know their address. They know that they have the wrong address there. And so the communication between the two of you might be enough to appease the Etsy gods.
Yeah. Melanie saying, I thought it had to be a tangible item. Brian's right. It has to be a tangible item if it's a listing for sale. You can't have a listing in your shop, a listing for sale to the public. You can't have a listing in your shop that's for a shipping upgrade. I know lots of people do, and I totally get why they do. But if it's a custom listing, that's a listing just made for that customer. So it should be okay. I don't think I've seen any policies either way about that, but it absolutely makes sense, as that's the only way that you can do it.
And it doesn't have to be a tangible item, because a digital item would not be a tangible item. And you could sell digital planner pages, and that's not a tangible item. So tangible, I don't think is the word they use. I forget what word they use in the policy off the top of my head.
I was just looking at that earlier and I totally forget. But yes, you can obviously have digital things. It has a listing. Yeah, the wording something along the lines of it has to create something. So they either have to get an email or a digital download of something, or they have to have something sent to them. But
there's nothing that says that a custom listing that's just for that one, like through the messages custom listing, has to be that as well, because that's the way that you would. There is no other way through Etsy to take a payment from someone if they do need to add an extra something. So if you want to add an upgrade of any sort, not even just a shipping upgrade, but if they want to upgrade the product and be like, okay, can you add this to it? Well, that's going to cost you $5 more. The only way to do that would be through a custom listing, even though they're not necessarily getting anything more. The custom listing is how you would do it, because that's the only way that's not avoiding Etsy fees.
Yeah, it's difficult. Etsy haven't thought through every eventuality. It would be nice if it was a bit easier, but yeah, Brian's right. A custom listing is the best.
Yeah. They have the system set up for one size fits most, just because they have to appease the masses. The individual cases where you might need this specific thing, Etsy's not so good with that.
Yep. Justina, would you say removing lots of listings that hadn't sold in a long time is anyway beneficial to the shop in general? I heard that removed lots and my sales were up. I would say that's probably a coincidence, especially if you're talking about this time of the year. Your sales were probably up because this is the problem with any testing, is your sales can go up very erratically for no reason other than more people are suddenly buying.
Yeah.
If an item hasn't sold and isn't getting any views or anything, it's pretty much the same as not being there anyway. Etsy judges how well your listings are doing by what's happening just now. If nothing's happening, it's neither hurting or helping. Because we hear the opposite all the time. People saying you must have over 100 listings, you must have 500 listings. You don't need a certain number, and there's no hurt or benefit of having that. We all have listings in our shop that do nothing. I do personally, I go around and do a cull every now and again when I remember, just because it could hurt if people come and have a poke through the shop and go, "Ooh, that's ugly. That looks like it was photographed in 2004," which it probably was. But it wouldn't. It's most likely your sales went up because it's coming up to the end of November and people went, "Oh heck, I forgot that Christmas is coming and I have to buy things."
Yeah. There's no direct impact in Etsy search ranking if you remove a lot of your listings, or if you have dead listings just sitting there. You could have 1,000 dead listings in your shop. As long as something is selling, that's the listing that will keep selling. It will have no direct impact whatsoever. What it will potentially have is an indirect impact, where if you have 1,000 listings in your shop, finding a listing that somebody wants might become difficult. So if you have a lot of things in your shop that people just aren't buying or aren't interested in, then indirectly that might impact your ranking, because people go to your shop, they search through the first 3 pages and they're like, okay, I'm done. So they're not getting through all the listings. So that would be the only advantage of removing listings that aren't selling. But as far as actual search ranking goes, and as far as the Etsy algorithm goes, zero impact.
Yeah, she goes on to say, I know it's not a magic trick, but would these old not selling listings be like a ball and chain for the general shop in the algorithm? No, mainly the algorithm looks at individual listings. The only time they mention it with other listings is if you create a new listing, it'll look at how other listings in your shop, other similar listings have done. But yeah, the old dead ones, I've not heard or seen anything, and there's no reason that Etsy would penalize you if you had one really amazing listing that was doing really great. There's no benefit to Etsy to penalize you for having a few less good listings. They just want to sell. Linda asked, I just noticed you can get a refund for use on Etsy now. I personally had a return and the options were the original method of payment or Etsy bucks, which was suggested to be faster. Yes, you can get Etsy credits. A buyer can choose Etsy credits for a refund.
I did not know that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I had no idea that was a thing.
Just about a month or so. I can't remember when it came up.
I guess it comes to you in like a gift card balance or something like that, or Etsy bucks. I don't know. Okay, good.
Yeah, I've not personally seen it, but I know it exists. Yep.
Because it can take 2 to 3 business days for a regular refund to go through, but Etsy bucks would be instant. I guess it's the same way that Amazon does it, where if you ask for a refund to your credit card, that can take 2 to 3 business days. Or if you go to an Etsy or to your Amazon balance, then it's instant. Okay, good. If they want to, if Etsy wants to be a bank, let them go full on.
It annoys me because we used to do through PayPal and you could get PayPal instantly.
Yep.
And they took away that. So now this is slower. So Etsy is giving Etsy bucks to make up for the fact that they've done a less good method. But from an Etsy point of view, it makes sense, because if you've got Etsy bucks, you have to spend them on Etsy. You can't go and then take your refund and spend it on Amazon.
Yeah, it's like store credit.
Yep, exactly. I mean, there's nothing sleazy about that. That's what everyone's been doing for long enough. It makes sense from Etsy point of view. Yep. It just annoys me that refunds take longer than they used to do like 10 years ago. They were going backwards.
Yep.
Anna, I have a customer who says she wants to leave a nice review, but Etsy says she can't leave one until 2025, but it's a digital product. I'm confused. Is it an automatic digital download or a digital product that you send? That's a difference. But
I
if
have
it's
seen this glitch come up for the past few years. Every now and then that comes up, where it's usually an automatic download, and for some reason it's just an arbitrary date. It's not even like exactly 1 year or exactly 6 months. It's just an arbitrary date in the following year, and usually it's messaging Etsy and just saying, hey, this is happening, and they have a way of fixing that.
Yep. Justina just let us know this didn't happen just now. It happened in the worst part of the year where she deleted things and got loads of sales. A coincidence, unfortunately. The thing is, humans are really, really good. All animals are good at seeing patterns. This is why you can train pigeons to walk around in circles, because we see something that happens and assume that something that we did made the thing happen, so we do the thing again. And unfortunately with Etsy, I would love, I like doing experiments. That's part of like what my background is, but unfortunately it's really difficult on Etsy because we're dealing with human interactions and other sellers and all sorts of other things. So you can just literally, if you get a random sale, which happens, you can get a bunch of other sales, because sales lead to sales, because the algorithm goes, that shop's just made a sale and it's done great. That shop's just got a review. Let's boost it up in the algorithm. So it could not be something that you've done, but the fact that you've just had a sale leads to a bunch of sales. And a lot of people think that they'll say, oh, I've had loads of sales and then now none, so the algorithm switched me off. It's like, no, it's sort of the opposite. It boosted you up because you were getting sales, and now that boost's run out.
Exactly. Also, there is only one algorithm. It's not that there's a bunch of different algorithms. An algorithm is just a mathematical formulation of A plus B plus C plus D. And so Etsy takes into certain considerations like relevancy, listing engagement, customer service, shipping price. There's a lot of factors that go into the algorithm to determine the rank for a specific search term. And one of them is your listing and shop quality score. But that doesn't necessarily mean if you have listings that aren't selling, then your shop quality score is low. Your shop quality score is how complete it is. If you have clear information that stands out and help buyers feel confident in making a purchase. If you get positive reviews, if you like anything positive that happens to your shop, will impact that. If you make a sale, that'll impact your shop quality score. If you don't make a sale, that means that there's no impact. There's no negative impact, but there's no positive impact. So having listings sitting there that aren't doing anything has zero negative impact on your shop. It just doesn't have a positive impact, but removing them also doesn't have a positive impact. It's just an even zero kind of thing.
Yeah. There's a lot of myths about Etsy algorithms. And I'll tell you the thing to take home, if you hear anyone telling you something about an algorithm, ask yourself, will this thing make Etsy more money? That is the point of the algorithm. It's to take the thing that the customer wants to buy and show it to the right customer. So if someone's saying Etsy's made a change because of this thing, a lot of the myths, like having lots of listings in your shop, like, oh, people saying your shop will be crashed in the algorithm if you drive traffic in from social media, all these kind of things. How would that benefit Etsy to write an algorithm to take that into account when actually they just want to make sales? And if you bring if you're doing things that make sales without being illegal, but if you're doing things that make sales, that's good, and Etsy don't want to stop it.
And similar, when people say the algorithm has changed, the algorithm might adjust the weight of something. So they made the whole $6 shipping thing 2 months ago, they made, if you have less than $6 shipping, then you will rank slightly higher. So they adjusted the weight of that part of the algorithm, of the shipping aspect of the algorithm. The algorithm didn't change though. It just gave a little bit. It just went from 1.5 to 1.51 of a multiple if you have cheaper shipping. So there has not been a major algorithm change on Etsy in at least a decade now. Ever since the main page no longer just showed the newest listings. That's basically the last time that there was a major change to the algorithm. Otherwise, it's just been weighting different things. And so it's not something that you have to worry about, a changing algorithm and did it change and now it's not showing my listings. That's just not a thing. That's just one of those myths that people use to explain something that they don't understand.
Yeah, it's come from Google SEO, which Google does change things, but they're quite open about it quite a lot, as open as they can be. But yeah, everyone likes to say the algorithm changed when quite often there was a better competitor came out on the market, less people are shopping, your store's looking a little bit stale. You know, sadly, we've got to look inwards. And even if the algorithm changed, there's no point sitting going Etsy broke stuff. You have to say, how do I make my stuff more appealing and get out in front of people? Because no matter what the algorithm is, if your stuff is amazing and people want to buy it and it's selling more than your competitors, you'll rank at the top.
Yep.
That's SEO. Sorry.
SEO for you.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks for joining us. We are now at time. Hopefully everyone has an amazing tomorrow, or if it's already today, if it's already Friday for you, have an amazing day. This whole weekend is going to be an amazing shopping weekend. Hopefully everyone does great. Hopefully everyone finds amazing deals that you can buy as well, because that's part of the fun of the whole weekend. And yeah, join us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all those types of things. Join us on Reddit as well. Every Sunday we do a shop critique where you can post your shop and let us know what your concerns are, or if there's something specific about your shop that you feel isn't moving, just post that there. And that's usually Jessica that will analyze and audit what's going on there. And otherwise, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and good luck tomorrow, everyone.
Good luck tomorrow.
Right.
Bye, everyone.
See you.